What's happening? It's your man Money B from Digital Underground, Mandatory Music, MASK, and the KNN. And this is an interview for drugrats.com. DJ Fuse and I have known each other since high school. We were both in like the breakdancing scene, like in the mid 80s and whatnot. We actually formed our first name, our first group name was MGM, and that stood for Mac Moan, Goldfinger, which was DJ Fuse at the time, he was Goldfinger, and Money B. Mac Moan, he was, I don't know if you ever seen, he's in Digital Underground, but me and him were actually rap partners in high school. But, you know, that was our original name, and, you know, we did a lot of demos and mixtapes back in the day. We actually changed the name to Raw Fusion because, of course, MGM, you know, we thought there might be some copyright infringement or some crazy shit like that. So we kind of got away from that. And Fuse changed his name to Fuse because there was somebody else using that name. And, you know, fuck it, he could have it. It was basically what it all boiled down to. But I know Fuse had the name Goldfinger, I think from one of the 007 movies, you know, they had Goldfinger or something like that. But, you know, we was rocking, we would do like, we were doing all the talent shows in the Bay Area, and we was just doing a lot of shows. Anywhere we could perform or get our stuff heard, we was, you know, hustling it. And around that time, this is before we were in Digital Underground, they had a single, Your Life's a Cartoon and Underwater Rhymes, that Shock and Shot Master J was really the group that they were promoting, and we would open up shows for them. And at the time, Fuse was really, he was like one of the hottest DJs, you know, like tricks and scratching and all that shit. He was like one of the dopest DJs shit out at the time, you know, because he would be in like the contests and whatnot, and he, you know, everybody knew that he had skills. So when we would do shows open up for Digital, we was rocking. Our manager at the time just so happened to be or start doing a little bit of road management or work with Digital Underground. So Shock approached him and basically wanted Fuse to be in Digital Underground. He tried to steal my DJ, but, you know, Fuse is my man. He was just like, look, if I get down with you, you gotta put Money B down. And at, you know, in the beginning, Shock didn't really like my style. He thought I was too West Coast. He said I sounded like Too Short, and it was just because I was from Oakland. You know, he came from Tampa, Florida via New York, so he's East Coast, so he just wasn't really feeling the West Coast style at the time. So, you know, Fuse was just like, well, you know, if I roll, Money B gotta roll. And he was like, yeah, whatever. So we would open up for Digital Underground as Raw Fusion, and then go back and Fuse would DJ for Digital Underground, and I would kind of like be me and Moan would be like the dancers and like the hype men or whatever. Eventually, when we got the deal, and the first record we recorded was Do What You Like together, and honestly, I wasn't even feeling that song in the beginning. I just wasn't on the same page with it. But, you know, as we started recording the first album, we kind of learned each other and became cool, and you know, things kind of worked out the way they did. But that's how it was in the beginning, you know, before Digital Underground. It was Raw Fusion, Money B, Mac Moan, and DJ Fuse.
It's the news. It's the news. It's the news. It's the news. It's the news.
course, to be in Digital Underground, like Raw Fusion, we were a group, and we always had aspirations to do our own albums and whatnot. But to be in Digital Underground, you actually had to have your own thing going. Like, Digital Underground was more like a large production team, or, you know, like you said, like Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang. Like, everybody had their thing, and we was all working together so that we each could do our own individual projects, you know. Like, you know, of course, like Tupac, Mystic, Saphir, Loonies, like all the groups that came through DU. We eventually landed at Hollywood Basic with Funk and Klein. You know, of course, God rest the dead. Funk and Klein, I knew him. I had known him for a little while. You know, he was working with Red Alert Productions and my brother Casualty. And, you know, we signed with Hollywood Basic and Funk and Klein. It was his label. And, you know, the whole idea was Funk was down with real hip-hop. He felt us. And he kind of was like, yeah, let's roll. But the only problem was Hollywood Basic was a part of Hollywood Records, which was owned by Disney. And the actual offices were on the Disney lot. So we ran into a whole lot of problems at Hollywood Basic, not so much with the Hollywood Basic staff, but with Hollywood Records, because they didn't want us to make our records. You know, we got signed to be Raw Fusion, but once we were signed, it was all, man, can you guys not cuss, and can you guys not do this and do this, do that? So we began to realize as we were recording and being on Hollywood Basic / Hollywood Records, that Funk and Klein didn't really have a lot of control over there. You know, he was just, their main focus was their rock bands and Disney. So we really couldn't get much done over there at Hollywood Basic. And because of that, you know, we ended up having a beef with Funk and Klein. And it was, like I said, not so much at him, but just frustrated with the situation at Hollywood Records. So that's why, you know, Live from the Styletron came out, and then our second album, Hoochie Five Funk, didn't come out for, I think, like 2 or 3 years later, because we basically boycotted Hollywood Records or Hollywood Basic. We stopped recording for them, but they wouldn't let us out of the contract. So, you know, one of the funniest moments, and it shouldn't be funny, but it is kind of funny. Think about it. One time we went in the office, and, you know, we were so pissed off after the meeting, and, you know, we were like, fuck it, you know, Funk and Klein, he was frustrated. He's like, fuck it. And Fuse is like, man, I just want to push his ass down some stairs. And if you don't know, Funk and Klein, he was in a wheelchair. But it was like, damn, you can't do that, man. But, you know, it was a very interesting experience being signed to Hollywood Basic and Hollywood Records.